Bluey.
Hi.
Welcome in Jazz Meeting.
Thank you.
And we have enjoyed your concerts. Great here in hospital in France. So, how did you experience your concert here?
It's always great to play in this part of France because there is so much hospitality. Everybody takes care of you. The food is good. The rooms are fantastic, and this really helps when we travel the world all over to have this level. But it's also a totally different part of the world. So since I was 5 years old, I've wanted to play music, and alongside my other passion to travel around the world, because I come from an island called Mauritius.
Yes.
And I used to see the ships leaving the harbour where I lived in Port Louis every day, and I was wondering where they went. And I see the plane once a week, and we run down the road after the plane, waving as if the people can see us, as if the pilot is waving back. Just children fantasies. I'm actually living that. So coming here and playing, being treated so well, and then playing music for people.
It's coming home.
It's every night, everywhere I go. I'm coming home, whether it be in Brazil, in Tokyo one day, and like last week tomorrow in Italy, and tonight here in France. It's just living the dream, and they really took care of us.
Yes. Okay, and when you go back into the years, your youth,
yes,
where everything started on your island, when you go back, what did you learn by traveling and making music with other people and in other countries? What did you learn?
Everything, the education that life gives you rather than books and studying and schools, that's important.
Yeah.
But when you actually go physically travel somewhere, and you can tell a child about the woods, you can tell the child about there's ponds. I remember, I'll give you a perfect example. I came to England, and I went to a boarding school in the countryside, and I also went to a school in the city before then, and I made various experiences. But then I came back to the city when the school was over. I was 15 years old, and I was getting into music, and I was traveling, and I saw some kids on the street every day. They kind of knew me. I'd seen them since they were babies. And I told them, they asked me where I'm going, and I said, well, today I'm going to this place, that place. And they were like, oh, what's it like? And they were trying to get information. And I decided one day, have you guys ever been anywhere? And they'd never been even to the West End of London. They'd never been to Piccadilly Circus. So I took them out, and I took them for a Chinese meal, and they thought they'd seen the world in one day.
Wow.
So I decided to make this a trend, and I took some of them that were old enough to come with the band on the road. I would take one on tour, and then I'd ask for permission from the parents. We'd get them a passport, which they thought they didn't have passports. So we applied for passports, and we took them. And there is a dozen of kids that I did this for who still write to me to this day, thanking me for their lives, because they're in the international business. They go skiing, they take their children skiing. They go to Mauritius, where I come from, and experience it and write to me about it.
You were a truly inspiration for the children.
Well, the thing is, when you have music, when you're a writer, when you have an audience, what are you going to do with that? Make yourself famous, make yourself rich.
No, that's not important.
It's like that degree of fame that you have has got to be. There's a payback for that, and a joyful payback. One that we're happy to pay. It's once you have that degree of fame. Look, for instance, right now I've got ailments. I've got osteoporosis, and I've got Parkinson's, and I'm fighting with it. But because of my degree of fame, when I went to Japan, these guys were reaching out to me and saying, please, we've just got some breakthrough acupuncture, please come and see us, we will treat you. And And in Germany, this lady made me a cap that I can give myself a head acupuncture on the road. You know, and then I discovered this doctor who's made breakthroughs with dopamine, you know, because he can tell when you've got low levels of dopamine and how to exercise and take the dopamine tablets that allow me to get on stage and play. So this giving to me has got to be of service to others. I've always understood from a young age that this music that I've been given is for me to be able to serve others. Because the way I discovered music was on the beaches of Mauritius. People were tired and broken working in the sugarcane fields, and I would sit next to my grandmother who had a bad leg, and we would sit on this wall and she would give me a sandwich and a cold drink, and I would sit there and we would wait for the people to be sitting under the trees. They're all broken, people rubbing a little oil on their back and tending. Then the musicians arrived. One guy with a drum, next guy with a little bottle and a bit and a knife, ting 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 ting. You know, this rhythm would and then somebody else would come with a little drum, and maybe a guitar, ting 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 ting, and this thing would grow, and I'd see these broken bodies literally come off the floor and start to dance and twist, and they would kind of like suddenly be transformed. And this is the power of music that I discovered. And I thought it was magic. I thought it was like, oh, you can fix people with this magic that you have if you play music. So I started playing music straight away, hoping to fix my grandmother. So I understood that I had, if this music became my life, then I would be of service, because I was immediately of service to my grandmother, because she was so happy that I was thinking about her, and it probably gave her a degree of extra life because of the joy that I brought her, you know, with the music and the positive nature of it.
So you realize.
I realized since I was 5 years old. I've always known my calling is to be of service, and then at various times of my life, I was rehearsing with one of my bands in the 70s, and next door was Marvin Gaye about to go on the road, and we popped our head through and he said, come in, and so we play. And I said, oh, this music is so beautiful. I hope one day I can even just be in a small way in your footsteps, you know? And he said, just know that we're, you know, whatever you do with your music, you're going to make somebody happy, and you will be of service to them, no matter what degree of what height and fame you reach. That even if you play to a child or an old woman. And when Marvin said that to me, I thought, wow, you know. Then later on, I would work with one of his co-writers, Leon Ware, who was an incredible songwriter who wrote many songs for Marvin. He wrote an entire album for Marvin, and we made that connection. And then I was on stage with Leon before he passed. And he came over we were in Paris, and he leant over to me and he said to me, we're of service. We are being of service to others. And I thought, oh my God. And then it happened again with Shaka Khan, when I was playing with Shaka Khan at Ronnie Scott's. She said, Bluey, here to serve. You know, and that echoes as if the universe is sending me voices that I could only dream about, you know. I was about 14 years old, and my teacher smacked me across the head because I wasn't listening. I was doing a drawing. That drawing was a little, you know, Matchstick Man. You know, some of my friends, they always do it in class, you know, and probably the guy next to me was drawing the football team, his favorite football team, and all the players in it, you know, who's in goal, who's the center forward, who's the defender, and writing their names. I was doing mine, and she came, slapped me across the head, took the piece of paper and threw it out of the window. In those days, we were like not caring, we were throwing rubbish. A teacher did this, took my thing and scrapped it. You know what was on that piece of paper?
Yes.
That piece of paper had a drawing with Steve Gadd on drums, George Duke keyboard right and vocals, Stevie Wonder keyboard left and vocals, a bushy head young lady whose record I just bought with a band called Rufus called Shaka Khan.
I know.
And the only person in that image that I didn't work with was the bass player, James Jameson, who died. The rest of them, I worked with all of them, and they're all in my life. I co-wrote, I toured with them, I played. They all came into my life. I was just a kid who was just dreaming, drawing a dream, and somebody threw it out, and look where it went into the universe and came back. You know, I never made any attempt outside of what I was doing every day of my life. These people just came into my life. You know, one at a time, they all came and became my friend to the point where I recorded with them, I toured with them. They call me in my home, come and do this and do that. It's like they were my brothers and sisters. You know, I think if you do everything with a purity of heart, and you know, many people find it strange that I don't believe in a God, but in a way I do, because I believe in the power of love, and if God is love, then I believe it's working. You know, if you put the love out there, it comes to you, and you don't need to expect it, because there will be times when love comes to you because you need to learn a lesson. You know, you need to go through hardship, you need to go through difficulties, but your answer is always to find the love to go through it and be of service to others.
Wow, what a story. I have a lot of questions, but you answered all my questions, more beyond. And what do you want to say to this generation, to the next generation? Because you said, you ended the show,
yes,
one love.
The coming generations are our only hope of survival. They're our only hope of uniting the world, of getting rid of this hatred that people have for each other. You know, we forget that, you know, it's like they don't care that you like them. You know, you've seen your child born, they're willing to take your child's life and leave your child, or take the parents and leave the children without families. They're willing to do that in the name of their success, their glory. You know, there's nothing that they're doing that is, you know, there's no affinity with the human race. It's happening time and time and time again. Politicians are just divided, and they're dividing the world. You know, they're there to kind of say, you know, join us, because we're going to kind of shut this lot out, rather than, you know, the day that I will be very happy the day I see the people in politics saying, you know what, let's just join together and just work at what we need to do to make this place work together. You know, but they can't. They're fighting for their party, they're fighting for their glory, they're fighting for their money, and to see how much money they can make within their lifetime and their degree of fame. You know, and this is what we're countering. So the future, the children are the only hope we have, the ones that will say enough is enough. You know, and because we will not leave their cup half empty. There's people in the society that are trying to bring forth children with intelligence, with you know, and right now it's a difficult thing, and the politicians know that. The people dividing the world find it very easy, because, you know, it's easier to be a criminal than it is to work hard and succeed. It's easier. I live in East London, and it's easier for the kids to just get on bicycles, steal bicycles, come and steal your mobile phone, and they will get, like, you know, a 12-year-old or 14-year-old will make £200-300 in one day. So we need to fight really hard to feed the right information to the future that we want to see happen. You know, the education of our children, the diamonds that we need to put in their minds. You know, we need to feed them the stuff that will help them to bring the change that we need to see. And because our generation is not going to do it, you know, young as you are, your generation is not going to do it. You know, the only hope we have is the children that are coming, maybe 2 or 3 generations from now. You know, if there's anything left. You know, so we use music, you use music and art. You know, we use art. You know, all of us use art, because, you know, it's like you can't really separate the two. You know, I can't make an album and not think what I'm trying to say with the album cover. I can't meet a child and not do a little drawing for the child to show them that you can use your imagination to do something. So these things are of ultimate importance for us to prepare for the future, because I'm lucky to have music to do it.
So what can you tell about your CD, Into You? What do you mean?
Into You is a personal message, but I just think there is a bigger message to it, because whoever's if you're into this music, then we've got into you, But initially it was written because this young lady there had met she'd had the difficulty in a relationship, and she thought she wasn't going to find love. And whilst making this record, she found love. And just while I was writing the songs, and she told me, "Bluey, I found this guy. He's the one. It's like he's has so much love and respect for me. I'm really into him." And the moment she said, "I'm really into him," I went like, "Okay." And I thought, let me write a song for this girl. And I spent that night writing the song, and the next day I played it to her. And she said to me, "Oh my God, this says everything I want to say about this guy." She's pregnant now, by him. So there goes the future that we're planning,
So, do you have more dreams? Because you living your dream.
Yeah, and now with the lack of sleep that I get, I don't just dream. I just have thoughts of turning my ideas into reality. When I was younger, I dreamt a lot. Now, everything that happens to, I'm gathering all the information that I can wherever I go. I can't go down the street and be caught you won't find me on a phone playing the game. I may do that if I can't sleep in the middle of the night, play some kind of puzzle game or something, but you won't find me traveling and going past trees, past forests, and past highways and signs, because I even went to Japan and I saw a sign saying, "Toyota, I love what you do for me." I wrote a song called "I Love What You Do For Me" because it inspired me to write. I just like the line.
Yeah.
So it's in everything. It's in the jungle. It's in the city. It's on the floor. It's in the sky. It's around you. It's like when you're lucky enough to make experiences above the clouds. Seeing sunrise from above the clouds. You're doing something which many people will not see, but you can use it as metaphors. Our metaphors are used in music, are strong connections with being able to give people a sense of wonder.
Yes.
You
have to wonder every day.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I want to thank you for your story, for sharing.
Thank you for allowing me to.
Life, and of course being in you. And I wish you love, happiness.
Thank you, my sister. I can feel that.
Luck and good health.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being you, and thank you for being the mother of beautiful children.
Thank you.
Thank you.